Good morning, students. Okay, so before we proceed to our prop lesson, let us first read our learning objectives. Learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, 75% of the students will be able to A. Recognize figures of speech used in the poem that show comparison, simile, metaphor, personification, by listing the lines comparing two things. B. Construct sentences using figure of speech that show comparison, simile, mention, and C. Shows cooperation and participation in answering group activities. Again, good morning, students. Good morning, ma'am. Kindly take your seat. How are you today? Doing fine, ma'am. So, are you excited? What are you going to learn for today? Yes, we are. That's absolutely great. Now, kindly arrange your chair and pick up some pieces of paper under it. Okay, so before we start our lesson for today, I want the last row to exchange seat for the first row. As you can see, I have a box containing your name. As I pick, the name to be called will be answered to my question for today's session. Now, I have here a poem titled Clouds. What are you going to do is to list the lines that uses comparison. Okay, Barshana stands up. What did you observe from the lines taken from the poem? I observed that in lines 1 and 2, it uses words such as like, and in 3 and 4 lines, it doesn't use like, but it compares two things, and the 5 and 6 lines, it gives human characteristics. Excellent. A very good clap please for Miss Bershana. Alright, so what are the words clouds being compared to in the poem? Clouds are being compared to silver lamps, snowy dawn, huge butterflies, beasts of the wilds, meadow, and playing in the wind. In line 1 and 2, Miss Ampik, clouds are being compared to what? Lamp and a dawn. What characteristic of a clouds make them serve lamps? Miss Udak? Its skin covered with white color. Can you give me the similarities of a cloud and a lamp, Mr. Robredo? They are both white colors. Very good. Clouds is being compared to a lamp because of its white color. Okay, next, Miss Hawari. To what are clouds being compared to in the 9th lines? To a huge butterflies. Why is cloud being compared to a huge butterfly? Miss Euron? They are both colorful and serve to our nature. Okay, very good. Okay, Miss Canales. From the activity above, what did you observe? I observed, ma'am, that we are comparing two different things. With what you call the comparison between two unlike things, Mr. Nico? It is called a figure of speech. You got it right. It is a figure of speech. And that would be our lesson for today's session. Okay, so what is meant by figure of speech, Mr. Adlaon? A figure of speech is a group of words or phrases that compare two different things. Very good. You have a point. So, going back to your answer to the last activity last minutes ago, you find 6 comparison. And here it is. Clouds are like server lamps. Clouds are like snowy dawn. Clouds are huge butterflies. Clouds are beasts of the wilds. The cloud is feeding on the meadow. The cloud is playing in the wind. So, now I pick names again to analyze your answer. Pick a name. Okay, in line 1 and 2, what clouds are being compared to? Miss Duhay Lusot and Adon. What word used to compare things? Word like. What do you call for the comparison made in these lines? It is called simile. What is simile, Pongkuwi? Simile is a figure of speech that compare two unlike things, usually using as or like. Okay, very good. Simile is a figure of speech that expresses a comparison between two unlike things with the use of as or like. Can you give me an example using simile, Mr. Navarez? She is as innocent as an angel. A clap please for Navarez. So, in line 3 and 4, did it use like or as to make comparison? No, ma'am. Why do you think so, Mr. Labrador? Because it is a direct comparison. Why do you call to the figure of speech used in these lines? It's called metaphor. What is metaphor, Miss Tanguamos? Metaphor is a figure of speech that compare two unlike things without the use of as or like. Okay, very good. Metaphor is a figure of speech that expresses a comparison between two characteristics without the use of as or like. Okay, next. Can you give me an example using metaphor, Miss Tan? The world is a stage and life is a roller coaster. Clap please for Miss Tan. In line 5 and 6, what figure of speech did it use? Patient. Why did you think so, Miss Gamutin? Clouds has a capacity to move like humans, so therefore it is called personification because it gives human characteristics to non-living things like animals, objects, and ideas. Very good. A personification is a figure of speech that gives human characteristics to non-living things like animals, objects, and ideas. Now, can you give me a sentence using personification, Mr. Gumabon? Lightning dance across the sky. Okay, very good. To better understand our lesson for today, we will have a group activity. I want you to group into 3. Now, start counting in front. Okay, so go to your group silently. From your group, I want you to construct 5 sentences in each figure of speech that we've discussed above. I want everybody to give a contribution as I will going to read it as shown in the rubrics. So here is the rubrics for you to follow. After we've done, underline the figure of speech that use comparison between two unlike things. I will only give you 10 minutes to finish this task. Now, you can now proceed. Now, kindly pass your paper. Students, let us remember that figure of speech is a group of words or phrases that made a comparison between two unlike things. The three different types of figure of speech that use comparison are simile, metaphor, and personification. When we say simile, it is a figure of speech that expresses a comparison between two unlike things with usually using as or like. And it is the opposite of the metaphor because metaphor doesn't use as or like, but it directly compares two unlike things. And lastly, personification, it is a figure of speech that expresses it is a figure of speech that gives human characteristics to non-living things.